I'm going to plant some corn. To do a mound, you want to take about 4 to 5 seeds, and you want to plant them in a mound 3 inches apart. Mounds 2 feet apart, and in each one I'll put 5 seeds 3 inches apart. So that's how I'm going to do it in mounds or hills. And now I'm going to do rows. So I'm going to make a row right here. You can see where I'm kind of already broken up the soil a little bit. And I'm going to place them 9 inches apart. So I'm going to set one down, and I have this I can lay down right beside it, and right here is 9 inches. You can put another one there, that beside it. I made a row right here, and you want 2 feet between each row, so there's 2 feet here. I'll lay the string down so I can make sure to keep it straight. And so I plant corn. I have a row here, a row here, a row here, there and there and there, every 2 feet until we reach the mounds. The corn is starting to come up over here. Let's see. Corn's looking great. I'm putting grass clippings around it to mulch. And then I have been finding weeds. I've just been pulling them up and throwing them on the top. My corn is really taking off. It's, I think, about up to my waist level. Corn is doing really well. It's actually doing really well. It's past my waist. The corn. My corn is now getting really tall. There are beetles mating on my corn. Really great. My corn is now way above my head. So it is 6.5 feet high by the 4th of July. I believe that's the saying, right? 6.5 feet high by the 4th of July. Corn is now finally starting to make tassels here. It looks like. See how it's purple tinted? And now the corn stalk is purple tinted. It's becoming more purple as it ages. It's cool. My corn is huge. Interesting, it's starting to finally make corn now. I'm happy about that. Look at all the pollinators and stuff flying around up there. Corn has made tassel ears there. The tassel mutated and made a little ear. That happens with the offshoots that come up off of the corn, side shoots. So a lot of times, especially when it rains a lot like it has been. A lot of these little side shoots will do that and make little ears along with the tassel. There's still a ton of corn here. Doesn't even look like I've harvested any, and I've harvested enough for quite a meal. Saying that I'm not noticing the difference at all in the production, really. If I'm planting them like this and in rows, I'm getting about the same amount of ears, I think, off of each one. I mean, these each make a nice clump, and the rows here seem to be making about the same amount. That's kind of cool. A lot of different colors in there. Yeah, I have washed and tried to get almost all the little, there's still more, the little silks off the cobs. And now I am going to just cut the corn off the cob. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get all the corn here. It's not completely dry, but I don't want it to rot out here or anything to get it and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest it now and then hang it to dry. I have all the corn out of here. So now I'm going to take all the husk off or pull it back and see what I got. 'Cause some of it's going to be like eaten by bugs, and some of it's going to have fungus on it and things like that. So they aren't all the way developed. I'm just sort of popping off and setting them here to dry since it's not a whole full cob. It's making my hands purple. I'm here in my shed because it's warm and dry in here. And hopefully they will continue to dry out and not get moldy or gross or anything. The other half here I'm just going to have to bring inside because it doesn't have any husks or anything. I'm trying to grow a grain that I can turn into bread to make my own breads and flours and things that I can plant myself without machinery or animals or anything that grows well and makes a big enough harvest for me to use. I can't eat wheat, so I thought, well, different things I could use and process on my own without a lot of work, and corn is one of them. The people of the Americas that cultivated corn and grew it were just amazing people. It was such a smart, wonderful thing because it said you don't need animals, you don't need a lot of tools to process it, to grow it, to eat it, to harvest it. It's amazing. I tried to grow buckwheat this year to see if I could do that because I really, really love buckwheat, but my summers get really, really warm. So I think it's just too hot. It makes flowers and grows really well, but the flowers don't set and doesn't make a lot of seed. So I'm hoping that the temperatures are cooler now, that the buckwheat will make more seed. I can show you the buckwheat is, you know, on its way out, but a lot of the flowers, I think they didn't really make seeds, and I think this is because it was so hot. But now that it's cool, there's one there. It's gonna, I think, maybe start making more seeds. So hopefully I'll get something, but I'm gonna actually probably wait until it frosts and then I'll harvest it after that. Into the weather, that could be as early as a week from now or so. So things are going to be on the way out, but you can tell the trees are starting to change colors and the plants and things everywhere. So it's fall. To my adventures with flour and bread and things. So I'm going to take this corn, since I don't have a mill, which I'm going to have to invest in if this works, and I'm going to do it with a food processor and a coffee grinder, and I'm going to make flour, and I'm going to make grits, and I'm going to make a few things and try it out. The corn here that I'm all going to use. This is a process, and it's kind of a mess, but it's really, really worth it. Processor, I'm just going to put in maybe a third of this. Okay, now I'm just going to grind it up. Okay, so after there's still lots of big pieces in there and things, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift it into here and pour it back in here and do it again. And just keep doing this. About 3 times I've ground in here and sifted, so I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time here. And then I'm just collecting it at the bottom here. So I wonder why I sound funny. I'm wearing a mask because I don't want to breathe in all these small particles. Now that they have this pretty well sifted and some of the cornmeal or corn flour down here, I'm going to now put it in this coffee grinder. I'm just going to grind it here. Okay, now I have it all blended out of the coffee grinder. I'm going to dump it through the sifter here. Okay, I've sifted that out, and now I'm going to put it back in the coffee grinder one more time. And I'm just going to sift it. And pretty much what's left is grits. I have grits, nice coarse like stone-ground grits, and nice like stone-ground cornmeal, whole cornmeal. I'm going to put these into some containers and mix some more because it's going to take a minute. Okay, now I have some cornmeal flour, or whatever you want to call it. I have some grits and some cornmeal, and I'm going to keep these in the refrigerator since, like I said, it's a whole grain and I think that it will go bad. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make some cornbread. So, first thing I'm going to do is, I have a thing I'm going to make cornbread in, but you have to turn your oven on. I guess it depends on like your oven. I'm going to put mine around, I don't know, between 425 and 450. Pan in here just to warm up with the oven. Some milk. I don't like milk really, so I know it's a little weird, but so I use almond milk. I'm pretty sure I can just use water and it would work. So water, milk, almond milk, coconut milk, rice milk, whatever. Just need a cup. 2 cups of this cornmeal. You don't use, I love this recipe, you don't use any wheat flour or any other type of flour or anything. It's great. Salt. I'm going to use half a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to put that in there. I know there's recipes where people add sugar to their cornbread. I'm not going to do that either because this tastes really, really sweet without it. So I'm going to mix this together really well. And then I have some baking powder I'm going to add to it. Spoons of baking powder. And I'll mix this together well. I add the wet ingredients and mix them in. I want to check the pan because I have to, I have some clarified butter I'm going to put in it. I'm just going to melt that in there. This back in the oven to continue heating up with the eggs mixed together because you shouldn't really crack them and mix them in your dish in case shells or something fall in there, or the egg is bad or something, and then you have to start all over. The eggs are fine, so I'm going to go ahead and just mix them together here. Now I'm just going to pour the eggs and the almond milk, water, whatever you have to use in here. I'm going to mix it together. Ooh, I'm going to use both hands, mix this together, and I'll be back. Okay, there we go. It's all mixed together. Look how nice and purpley blue it is. I'm going to get my pan out of the oven now. I'm going to pour this directly in my pan that's hot. I'll be back. It's going to be crispy. I'm just going to put this right back in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. It's been 15 minutes, but it's not quite done, so I'm going to put it back in for about another 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take this out here and tie it out. Should come out. Yep, it's fine. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, it's nice and hot. Cornbread is best enjoyed warm, so I'm going to go ahead and have a slice. It's nice and still spongy, but not too crumbly to where I can't slice it and eat it. It's really good. When it cools down, I'm going to show slicing it and making little sandwiches or toast or crackers. I'm curious to see if it will toast up good or if it will fall apart in the toaster. Shouldn't speak with my mouth full. It's just so good. I love that it's a whole grain. It's so good. I should try to make these grits now. These really cool colored grits. It's almost like rainbow sand. I'm just going to sit here and just kind of stir it. Let it bubbles away. It'll get nice and thick. I'm probably upsetting a lot of people that love to have butter and milk and all kinds of things on their grits, except this is just with water. It tastes so good without, it doesn't need anything else. Just stir this around a bit. Ooh, it's a little getting too hot there. I better turn it down a bit too. I don't want it to burn or anything. It's getting nice and thick. It's becoming nice and creamy and nice porridge, so I'm going to keep stirring it here until I get it the way I like it, and then I'm going to eat it. These are nice and done enough for me. They're nice and thick. If you want them a little thinner, you just add more liquid. I'm going to go ahead and try these out. Nice and thick. Nice and hot, too. Just with this salt and pepper. I don't really think they need milk or butter or anything like that. I definitely think it has something to do with the corn itself, the way it tastes good without a lot of butter or milk or anything. Because it's really good corn. Excuse me. There's just one more thing that I can make that I don't have to rely on a lot of the grocery store and things to do. I could eat this with breakfast with some jam or something. Try it out. Some berries and some jam. Probably should have waited till the berries thawed. Could have make this nice and cold. Oh well. Color is pretty amazing. That's cool. It tastes good too, I bet. Oh yeah. Pour some fruit there. I made here, and I'm getting really curious if I can make toast out of this. So I sliced it. So I kind of it nice and done, so I could actually slice it. Let's see if it makes toast. So it's nice and thick. I mean, this is just the top part. It was much thicker that I've been slicing off and making slices. That's why I used 2 eggs, so I didn't have to use wheat flour or anything, and it would still hold together well so that I could slice it and not be too crumbly, even though it is pretty crumbly because it's cornbread. My giant thing of salsa, just kidding, is a thing of jelly that I've made that I've been using all summer. It's hot, it's steamy. It becomes more crumbly when it's hot, for sure. But it's still a nice texture, like bread. I like that. So I think I have my own bread that I can make myself now, out of grains that I grow. I'm gonna have to get an actual, excuse me. I'm gonna have to get an actual mill or something to grind it up with. I Can't keep using my coffee grinder and food processor to grind it up, or I'll end up breaking them or ruining them probably. I just assume. Although it does work just fine. But, I think I should invest in something like that. Not only to have something to put jelly on, but to have something to make sandwiches with. And I'll definitely be able to make like a sandwich with this and take it with me somewhere. A little sandwich just to see how it goes. We have some turkey here. I'm going to slice up and put with some lettuce here. Chow chow on it. It's good. I could have put mustard, and I thought, wait, I just made a bunch of chow chow. So I'm going to go ahead and put some lettuce on here and make a little sandwich. I think that is a delicious looking little sandwich. Excellent. It's perfect. I think I am pretty happy that I've achieved being able to make my own bread. Nice. At least I have one more product that I can make myself. My own grains. Excuse me, that was so good. Played a bit so my leftovers don't look as gross. I love the fact that I now have a grain that I can grow by hand, by myself, and make bread, because, you know, I did on wheat, but even if I tried to grow wheat, I think it would be quite an intense process to try to do on my own compared to corn. I think corn is the perfect grain because it's so large, it produces so much, it's so easy to grow where I live, and it's something that you can plant by yourself without tools or anything, and harvest by yourself without a lot of tools or anything, so I really am happy about it. I'm glad that I finally have something like that to rely on. Because I just don't like to rely on the store or other people for things, I guess, especially these days. I just don't. I know what's in this now. I grew it myself. And so I have bread to eat. This here I might make a little sandwich out of. I might slice it up a little bit more. I might just crumble it and put it into some things. It's still kind of crumbly, which is nice. You can put it in chili and things like that. So it's still pretty good for all kinds of different things. I'm pretty excited. I just need to get some chickens now.